Racetrack section clear for takeoff. Full rotation. Thanks for watching the 8:05 post show. To break down all the action that we had at the Billabong Pro Pipeline today, it was a quick day but very important heats to set up the semifinals for the women here at Pipe. Stop number 1 of the World Surf League Championship Tour. Thanks for being with us on the 8:05 post show. Joe Turpel, Laura Enever, and Ross Williams. We're still kind of gathering ourselves after that last heat. A very strange, peculiar heat, especially when you look at the numbers, Laura.
Yeah, I mean, the total scores there, 1.1 for Gabriella Bryan to advance. I mean, that does not happen much in competitive surfing, but you have to be ready for those. Expect the unexpected on a day like today. There was some crazy close heats, but it was exciting.
Interesting too, Ross, because we're all anticipating what we've been seeing on the buoys. Those are that's real information, and we're continuing to wait for it to get better and better. Were you surprised with the conditions in those last 2 heats of the day?
Yeah, what's going on back there, man? The ocean's a little grumpy right now. I don't know what happened, but I think the first real reading was at 3:50 a.m., and it's approximately 12 hours from there. So, I mean, I guess based on that, yeah, it's just taking its time. It was a really tough day. I feel bad for the competitors. It was a tough day in the office. And whoever got busy, whoever found those scrappy scores, they were rewarded with a semifinal berth.
And I suppose, Laura, as a longtime competitor yourself, sometimes those wins can be the most rewarding when you can kind of think on your feet, move on the fly. Someone's got to win today and embrace that challenge.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's competition, and it's whoever adapted out there and adapted to what was going on in their heat. And, even I was so impressed with Carissa, finding that last score. And, Betty Lou, she actually didn't even make a wave, but the length of her barrel riding and the tube time that she got was enough to get her through. So, that doesn't happen a lot, but yeah, like Ross said, it was a tricky day in the office, and Betty Lou will be very happy to make it through to that semifinal.
Let's just start there, you guys. Ross, let's go through what you spoke to Betty Lou about before, and then what you saw in that heat win. Quarterfinal number 4 against Gabriella Bryan for our spot in semifinal number 2. Ross, this was this preparation in her mind to take on one of the best, the Rookie of the Year from last season.
It's so tricky because you're looking at the waves and you're like, okay, where are we going to find a score today? Is it lefts? Is it rights? The swell's coming up. Are we going to see an 8-foot set all of a sudden change the whole scope? And it never really happened. But for Betty, we were just talking about the inside section, where to find, Tyler Wright obviously had the kind of the best heat of the day, and she just caught like 2-foot waves. I mean, she was kneeling so low to get those little barrels, but she found those scores, and that was what I was telling Sakura, just be really crafty and take nothing for granted.
Betty Lou, Sakura Johnson, 1.3 and a 0.9 in her top 2 to take out Gabby Bryan. She's hanging out with AJ.
Like you mentioned, Joe, that 1.3, Betty Lou, challenging conditions out there. What was your strategy coming into your heat?
Strategy was at least get to scoreable waves, but that didn't happen, and we made do what we had out there, and I'm really happy to squeeze by through that one.
You had a very dramatic part there, too, breaking your board off, having to get back out, try to get in another wave. What are you telling yourself as you're paddling back out?
I'm just, okay, breathe. When I broke my board, I got in from the ski, and my mom was like, smile and just breathe and hang on to that little positive thread out there. And I did that, and we squeaked through, but nonetheless, just those heats really matter.
How important was it for you to survive and advance onto the semis?
Yeah, super excited to be in the semifinals. Every heat counts. Want to, make that top 5 or make the cut in these next 5 events. So happy to squeeze by. Points matter. Every second matters, really, especially in situations like that. Back out, needing another wave. So happy.
Congratulations. We'll see you in the semifinals.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys, for watching.
You're welcome. We love watching you compete, Betty Lou, especially in those crazy heats when it's that close. You can tell she's got experience from last year. She remembers what happened at the midseason cut. Every heat counts. She knows how many more points she's going to receive from her start last year at Pipeline. That's going to be great to see her in Semi 2, Laura. And
you heard it there. She wants to make that cut, but that final 5 is in her eyes. So every heat counts, every point counts, every millipoint counts. So, Betty Lou must be feeling very good right now.
Let's go to how we kicked off today. Quarterfinal number 1, an exciting heat. Lakey Peterson, Brisa Hennessy came into this one 1 win apiece. This was going to settle the score for now. Remember, the last win was in Tahiti, which cost Lakey's spot in the Rip Curl WSL Finals. So she got the payback she was looking for, Ross.
And she found a good rhythm. She started her heat with that little score there. Brisa did fight well to find the score, a couple turns, finish it off on a dry reef, but the one good wave that came in, she was right there for it and got a nice little barrel. Again, looking for backup scores, that's what you do, but she found that barrel, and that really made the difference.
Lakey Peterson, solid effort there with some nice clean surfing, real quick off the lip. She's been running the CI Pro model. As a fresh model she's worked out with Britt Merrick, and it looked great. 4.33. Move on to the semifinals, which she did last year. So repeating that same success with much more momentum at the moment. Heat number 2 of the morning was really anticipated as well. 2-time world champ Tyler Wright, who won this in the continuation series a couple of years ago. And Tati, someone who's always supposed to win out here. What'd you see about this one this morning, Laura?
This was an exciting heat on paper, and these two have had some incredible matchups. Tyler opting to sit on the backdoor peak and find those small ones. Tati just couldn't get under it and match the energy of those pipe waves today. But, Tyler getting the work done. This was incredible work here to stay on her feet through that choppy, lumpy section there and push through to get that 5-point ride. But Tati did not really get started.
Tough one there for Tati, who just really hung it up on the lefts, and those rights, with or without priority, Tyler just kept improving. 5.17, 6.5, as she will take on Lakey Peterson in semifinal number 1. She's looking really strong and comfortable. Once again, back in a final series at Pipe. We're seeing a lot of similar names from what we saw last year, and this was definitely one of the most anticipated quarters to watch. Molly with a Pipe win at the end of last year. We're really fired up to take on Carissa Moore, and this is where conditions got a little bit funky, but we definitely got to see the charging effort, Ross.
Yeah, Molly does charge, and I like her energy. She's always just kind of feisty in the lineup, looking for waves, constantly scouring. But we saw this is a weird wave under priority. Carissa found that little barrel all the way down towards off the wall, and that was the difference. This is where the waves actually took a turn for the worse. It got really weird out there, and just made, Molly doesn't chill. She's constantly looking for another way to win, and even she couldn't find another score. So it's just a testament to how tough the waves were.
You see her swing on that closeout, 1-3-3 for that effort. That was all that Bicklem had on the scoreboard, and Moore opened up with a 4-6-7. That was the only difference there. As we check out the final bracket, semifinals have 3 of the same surfers from last season. Just mixing it up is Betty Lou getting into semi 2. That's a great local rivalry. The Grom on tour against one of the most decorated ever. Betty Lou takes on Carissa Moore. And then Lakey Peterson and Tyler Wright, 2 surfers that could be focusing on backdoor when they're back out there once again, Laura.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the next few days brings. The forecast looks like it's going to improve, and I think we're going to see some good barrel rides. But yeah, crazy that the three women from last year's semifinals are out there again.
Let's get some predictions. Can we say Rostradamus? We always give Waz the credit for predicting things. And, with Surfline backing you up here. Ross, what do you think for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow on the waiting period, easily looks like by far the best day. Tuesday looks great. The wind's going to be strong, but it'll be out of the east. The swell will be here. Overnight it's going to fill in. I don't see that sand being an issue because the direction of the swell is 315. That's really nice. That's nice and west. So tomorrow it is going to be all gas, no brakes.
Love that. Look, breezy east winds, which is fantastic. You can see the next 4 days. It's Monday right now, so tomorrow 8 to 10 foot on the face, offshore, and continuing through a lot of options to crown our champions.
Totally. So I think, I don't know if we can finish it all tomorrow, but Wednesday also looks like it's going to have waves on offer, so can't wait to see it all unfold.
A lot of anticipation with finishing the women's, but also the round of 32 with that overlapping format. That could be a premier day for the men tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it should be. We're predicting probably double overhead waves, lots of lefts. But now that with the swell maturing overnight, we should see the interval drop a little bit, which is good for backdoor. So guys going left and right, it's going to be a full day. And I think we do need Wednesday as well. Now that we didn't finish this this round with the women's event, we're going to need some of Wednesday too. But the swell should still be hanging around on Wednesday. We'll have waves.
Looking forward to that as soon as tomorrow morning. But this year, we heard some special news from the WSL honoring the greatest, most important figure in surfing.
I grew up surfing Waikiki and passing the Duke statue every day, but it wasn't until recently that I really learned about Duke's story and who he was as a person and what he achieved and how he lived his life, which is so inspiring. I feel like everyone should know from a very young age the story of Duke.
Every aspect of surfing in the modern age has been influenced by Duke Kahanamoku, and every surfer, from those just starting their journeys to our world champions, walks in his footsteps.
Your two-time world champion, John Florence.
I think Duke represents the roots of surfing, the core of it, and coming from Hawaii and knowing the history of Duke and what he did as a swimmer, as an Olympic athlete, as a surfer, and bringing surfing around the world, it's turned into a real, pretty amazing kind of sport.
Everybody in surfing knows who Duke Kahanamoku is. I feel really proud to be able to represent him in a way as well. You know, not just in the water, but going towards my goal of becoming a world champion and knowing that his name is on there.
Stephanie Gilmore, she holds the record.
So it's with great honor that we're announcing the renaming of the World Title Cup as the Duke Kahanamoku WSL Champions Trophy, using the platform of the world's best surfing to continue to celebrate the life and legacy of the Duke.
Time the Wright has gone back-to-back. Abel Medina, now a three-time world champion. Italo Ferreira puts that trophy up. Felipe Toledo, your world champion. Now a five-time world champion.
It's long overdue. He's someone that deserves so much respect and so much love and aloha, and he's given us so much. So I'm happy that we get a chance to honor him, especially in those big moments. To bring him a part of that is really special.
The Duke Kahanamoku WSL Champions Trophy, that just sounds sweet. It's so important for the sport of surfing. He was the ambassador of Aloha and shared surfing with the world. Not too far from where Laura grew up in North Narrabeen, going down to Freshwater Beach. There's another Duke statue there. There's a few around the world, and the Australians celebrate Duke bringing surfing to Australia. How cool is that?
It's so cool. The Duke statue, go down and visit it a lot. And, Duke came to Australia and surfed for the first time at Freshwater Beach and actually took a woman out on his surfboard. So pretty cool that, just a woman on the beach got to surf for the first time with Duke all that time ago.
How cool is that, Ross, for you being a local boy here in Hawaii and having the Duke honored once again in this way?
Yeah, it's great, and it's obviously a no-brainer for the WSL to attach his name to the World Champion Trophy. I think it's a great call to honor Duke that way. And Duke was an Olympic medalist for swimming. So not only was he known for spreading surfing around the world and what he loved so much, but he was an athlete too. So that's kind of cool to have that vibe.
Really exciting times. And now into the 8:05 post show, one of our favorite parts of the day, the top 5 reel. Sometimes it's not just glory on this highlight showcase. Coming at number 5 are the wipeouts that are celebrated here at Pipe and Backdoor. Laura, we saw quite a few.
Yeah, today was nasty. It was small, but with that high period this morning, it meant that the waves were coming in and, like Ross said, doubling up on each other and sometimes just unloading on this reef. Gabriella Bryan just trying to make something happen there. They were trying to throwing themselves into the shallows.
As we see number 4 on the top 5, Betty Lou Sakura Johnson squeaking through. From a coach's perspective, break down how important that win was, Ross.
It was just weird. I kept saying that all afternoon. It's just weird to see surfers needing a fraction of a score out at Backdoor and Pipe, but the waves weren't cooperating, and whoever was crafty enough and got those scores got through.
Wins a win. Number 3, it's Lakey Peterson. Back-to-back semifinal appearances in the last 2 seasons. Laura?
How cool is that? I mean, there's no better feeling than, coming here and Lakey, she's been putting in so much time and effort and is trying to improve and get comfortable out here. Obviously, it's not big Pipe or Backdoor today, but just really impressed with Lakey's courage and fight, and she's eyeing off that top 5.
She certainly has. She moves on to the semifinals once again. Number 2 on the list, Carissa Moore, late heat, ends up finding a nice little hollow section that really made all the difference getting past Picklum.
Yeah, you know, Carissa is just such a student of the game, and she's been spending a lot of time in the water surfing backdoor and pipeline the last few years, and it's paying off. She really knows her lineups. She can identify those little backup scores, and that made the difference in this heat, Joe.
Great win there for Carissa, back in the semifinals. Remember, she was runner-up last year. She wants to go one step further and taking out the top 5. 2-time world champ Tyler Wright, really smart without priority, sticking to the right to backdoor.
Yeah, Tyler really surfed a heat on her own and just got the best waves that we've seen all day. 2 mid-range scores, the highest score of the day. This was the barrel of the morning where she just slid in and just hung on over that gurgly section there. So Tyler's going to be feeling confident, but she's looking calm and collected and precise.
Well done for Tyler Wright, riding that 5'9" John Pizell model. Made a lot of sense in the smaller conditions at backdoors. The semifinals are squared away for the women, but we have a lot of work to do for the round of 32 for the men. Check your fantasy teams really quickly on the men's side. Make sure you're all squared away for an early start tomorrow morning. Take care. We'll see you then. Quarter number 1 already getting started at the Billabong Pro Pipeline in memory of Andy Irons.
CHAMPION, the life of a champion.
Lakey Peterson, nice little hollow section that she's running through. She wants to seal the deal with a nice closeout snap.
On the paddle back out, she finds a little runner here. Backdoor pulls in, slotted deep, and finds the exit.
I was lower than the flow. Now my new name starting with a C. Here we go. CHAMPION. The life of a champion. CHAMPION. The life of a champion.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.